Hello students, today we are going to start our third chapter from your book Hornbill, and the name of the chapter is Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues. Here, Tut is the name of an Egyptian king and saga it means a long story. So, our chapter is Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues by A.R. Williams. So, let us begin this chapter with the introduction. This chapter is about the last heir of the powerful pharaoh dynasty Tutankhamun, who is also known as Tut, who died when he was a teenager after ruling for 9 years. He died in a mysterious way. This chapter throws light over all the possible mysteries, the curse, where his tomb lies, his life, and ultimately death. Egyptians believe that there is life after death, and that is the reason why the pharaohs, why the kings were buried with wealth and everyday use items. So let us begin our chapter without wasting time. He was just a teenager when he died, the last heir of a powerful family that had ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid to rest laden with gold and eventually forgotten. Since the discovery of his tomb in 1922, the modern world has speculated about what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. Now, leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offers new clues about his life and death and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boy's pharaoh. Here, in this paragraph, heir it means inheritor or successor, laden it means loaded, speculated it means form a theory without evidence, tomb it means an enclosure to bury the dead person, forensic reconstruction it means the process of recreating the face of an individual, pharaoh it means a ruler in an ancient Egypt, here it means a king. In this paragraph, Tutankhamun, who is also known as Tut, was a teenager when he died. He was the last successor, the last inheritor of his powerful pharaoh dynasty which ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid on rest, heavily loaded with gold. His tomb was discovered in 1922, which made the world raise a question about what had happened to him and whether he had been murdered. After almost 80 years, his body was about to undergo a CT scan which would give new information and clues about his life and death. His face would be recreated with the help of a procedure called forensic reconstruction. Now, next paragraph. An angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in the ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of the Kings. Dark-bellied clouds had scudded across the desert sky all day and now were veiling the stars in cascade grey. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided head first into a CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. In this paragraph, stirred it means move or cause to move slightly. Ghostly it means unnatural or unreal. Resting place here the grave. Cemetery it means a large burial ground. Dark-bellied it means dark in color. Scudded across it means moving quickly. It refers to the movement of the dark-bellied clouds. Veiling it means to cover something. Cascade it means a small ornamental box. Cascade grey it means that the grey clouds were like a grey colored cascade which contained the stars. The stars are like jewels which are kept in a casket, which are kept in a box. Glided it means quiet or continuous motion. Probe it means to investigate, to find out or to search. Lingering it means long lasting. In this paragraph, a fast, strange and unnatural wind was blowing as King Tut's body was taken from his grave called Valley of the Kings, an ancient Egyptian cemetery. Dark clouds moved quickly across the desert all day long and later they covered the stars. On January 5th, 2005, at 6 p.m., King Tut's mummy, which is the world's most famous mummy, was placed in the CT scanner to investigate the mystery behind his death, which had occurred more than 3,300 years ago. Now, next paragraph. All afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped rock-cut tomb some 26 feet underground to pay their respects. They gazed at the murals on the walls of the burial chamber and peered at Tut's gilded face, the most striking feature of his mummy-shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper. Others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver if the pharaoh's curse, death, or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him was really true. In this paragraph, descended it means moved or gathered. Cramped it means very small to fit into. Rock cut it means made in a rock by cutting it. Gazed it means to look in surprise or in admiration. Murals it means a painting or other artwork executed directly on the wall. Gilded it means covered with a thin sheet or coating of gold. Striking it means prominent. Whisper it means to speak in a low voice. Pondering it means think about something carefully. In this paragraph, all afternoon tourists visited the 26 feet deep underground rock-cut tomb to pay respect to the king. Many people stuffed into the small tomb and looked in admiration at the murals on the walls of the chamber and took a look at the face of Tut that had been painted with gold. While visitors read the guidebooks in a low voice, some stood silently wondering about his untimely death in his teen years. They might also be wondering if the curse of the pharaoh of the king, which leads to the descent of misfortune upon the person who disturbs him, is true. Now the next paragraph. The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did in the 1920s, said Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, as he leaned over the body for a long first look. Carter Howard Carter, that was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity, were surprisingly complete. They remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the pharaoh's legend. Stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance mean to guarantee resurrection, caused a sensation at the time of the discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he had want in the afterlife: board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine. In this paragraph, futile it means pointless or incapable of producing the result of something. Hastily it means fast or swiftly. Ransacked it means raid or go through a place to steal or damage something. Antiquity it means age or oldness. Resurrection it means restoration to life. Afterlife it means life after death, based on the belief that the essential part of an individual's identity continues to the next life after the death of the physical body. In this paragraph, as Zahi Hawass, who is the Secretary General of Egypt, leaned over the body to have a look, he said that the mummy was in a very bad condition because of what the British archaeologist Howard Carter did to it in the 1920s. He discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922 after a long search. The valuable treasures of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly they were complete. The treasure found at Tut's grave is the richest till date and has come to be known as the Pharaoh's legend. king's legend. It has artifacts in gold which are eternally beautiful and as good as new. Such artifacts still get attention. Tut was buried with things of daily use like a razor made of bronze, games, linen undergarments, and boxes of food and wine which he could use in the next life. Now, next paragraph. After months of carefully recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers, the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, the ritual resins had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them, Carter wrote later. What was to be done? In this paragraph, funerary treasures, it means the valuable things with which the king was buried. Three nested coffin, it means three coffins placed one in another in order of decreasing size. The innermost coffin houses the body of the deceased. Shroud here means a length of cloth in which a dead person is wrapped. Adorn, it means decorated. Garlands of willow, it means a wreath of flowers and leaves. Mummy, it means a body of a human being or animal that has been ceremoniously preserved by removal of the internal organs, treatment with natron and resin, and wrapping in bandages. Ritual here means the resins used in the ceremony of mummification. Resins here means a sticky flammable substance that is insoluble in water. Legitimate, it means reasonable. In this paragraph, Carter took a few months to record the treasures found in Tut's grave. Then he began investigating his three coffins, which were nested one in another. In the first coffin, he found a piece of cloth with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflower, which suggested that he had been buried in the months of March or April. When he reached the third coffin, he was in trouble. The body had hardened due to the resins which had cemented the body, and it has stuck to the bottom of the coffin, which was made of gold. Carter wondered what to do next because no amount of force could separate the two body from the coffin. Now the next paragraph. The sun can beat down like a hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the resins. For several hours, he set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged. He reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. In this paragraph, blazing, it means very hot. Budge, it means moved or shifted, a slight movement. Chiseled away, it means to cut something with a chisel. In this paragraph, Carter tried to loosen the resins by keeping the body in the hot sun. He kept the mummy in 149 degrees Fahrenheit heat for several hours, but still it remained stuck. He reported that a chisel could be used to cut down the mummy from the limbs and the trunk so that Tut's body could be taken out of the coffin. Now next paragraph. In his defense, Carter really had little choice. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy, and they thought or hoped that they could take their riches with them. For his journey to the great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sits for his fingers and toes, and the now iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. To separate Tut from his adornment, Carter's man removed the mummy's head and severed nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed the damage, the bed where Tut now rests. In this paragraph, circumvallent, it means find a way around. Thieves would have found a way to tackle the guards and remove the gold from the tomb. Inlaid, it means a decorative pattern on a surface. Amulet, it means an ornament or small piece of jewelry thought to give protection against evil, danger, disease. Taviz. Apron, it means a protective garment worn over the front of one's clothes and tied at the back. Sits, it means a close-fitting cover. Iconic, it means something or someone who is a symbol or it represents some other thing. Adornment, it means ornaments, and concealed, it means hid or hide. In this paragraph, according to Carter, he had no choice other than to cut the mummy. He believed that if he hadn't done that, thieves would have removed the gold from the tomb and would have looted it. During Tut's time, the royal people were very wealthy, and they had a belief that after that they could take the wealth along with them. For his life after death, he was given precious collars, necklaces with decorative patterns, bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, sits for fingers and toes, and now an iconic inner coffin and a mask. His men removed his head and every joint of his body. After they finished, they reassembled the remains in a wooden box with padding filled with a layer of sand to conceal the damage. It was his new resting place. Now the next paragraph. Archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on the fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact. Beneath the resin that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing. In this paragraph, intervening, it means occur in the time between events. Intriguing, it means to arouse one's curiosity. And startling, it means unexpected or surprising. In the past few decades, archaeology has changed as it now focuses on the details of life and the mysteries of death. Earlier, it was about focusing on the treasure. Now it uses more advanced medical technologies and tools for research. In 1968, an anatomy professor x-rayed King Tut's mummy and revealed that the front limbs and breastbone were missing. Now the next paragraph. Today, diagnostic imaging can be done with computed tomography or CT, by which hundreds of X-rays in cross-section are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. What more would a CT scan reveal of Tut than the X-ray? And could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? How did he die, and how old was he at the time of his death? King Tut's demise was a big event, even by royal standards. He was the last of his family's line, and his funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty. But the particulars of his passing away and its aftermath are unclear. In this paragraphs, computed tomography, it means it's also called a CT scan. It is a three-dimensional scan of a body with the help of hundreds of X-ray in cross section together. Demise, it means death. Death rattle, it means the gurgling sound it produces in the throat of a person who is about to die. Aftermath, it means after effects of an unpleasant event. In this paragraph, now with the advancement of technology, CT scan or computed tomography can give a virtual image of the whole body. With the help of this technology, King Tut's body would be scanned to find answers to two questions. And which are those two questions? How he died and how old was he at the time of his death. His death was a shock to the royals also, as he was the last person of his family, and his funeral indicated the diminishment of his dynasty. However, what happened after his death is still not clear. Now the next paragraph. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and initiated one of the strangest periods in the history of ancient Egypt. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of the Aten, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten, or servant of the Aten, and moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Akhenaten, known now as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago's Research Center in Luxor, the site of ancient Thebes. The family that had ruled for centuries was coming to an end, and then Akhenaten went a little wacky. In this paragraph, wacky, it means amusing in a slightly odd way. In this paragraph, Tut's father or grandfather Amenhotep III was a very powerful pharaoh, was a very powerful king who ruled over a period of 40 years. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and began the strangest period in the history of Egypt. He promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk. He changed his name to Akhenaten, meaning servant of the Atens. He also shifted the religious capital from Thebes to the new city of Akhenaten called Amarna. Further, he attacked Amun, a god, smashed his images and closed his temples. Ray Johnson, who is the director of the University of Chicago, said it must have been a bad time for the empire as their family, who ruled for centuries, came to an end and Akhenaten moved in an odd direction. Now the next paragraph. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Smenkhare appeared briefly and exited with hardly a trace. And then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne, King Tut, as he is widely known today. The boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, leaving image of Amun, and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. He reigned for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. Regardless of his fame and the speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many? No one knows. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory in late 2003, has recorded almost 600 so far and is still counting. The next phase, scanning the mummies with a portable city machine donated by a National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. In this paragraph, another mysterious ruler, Smenkhare, succeeded him and died soon. Next, Tutankhamun, also known as Tut, sat on the throne and ruled for 9 years. He worshipped god Amun in the old ways. However, he died mysteriously. Tut is one of the mummies in Egypt, whereas until now, with the help of the Egyptian Mummy Project, which started in 2003, almost 600 mummies have been recorded so far. King Tut's mummy was the first one to be scanned by City under the next phase of scanning the mummies with the machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens. Now the next paragraph. A City machine scanned the mummy head to toe, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross-section. Tut's head scanned in 0.62 mm slices to register its intricate structures, takes on airy detail in the resulting image. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics and anatomy began to probe the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. In this paragraph, airy detail, it means strange images of Tut's head as visible with the help of CT scan. Forensics, it means the application of the scientific method to investigate a crime. Anatomy, it means the branch of science which deals with the bodily structure of humans, animals or other living beings. Burial, it means burying the dead person. Shrine, it means holy place. In this paragraph, the CT scan machine scanned the body by creating 1700 digital X-ray in cross sections. Tut's head was scanned in 0.62 mm slices to record the tiny details. The resulting image was very strange. A team of radiology, forensics and anatomy experts started examining the secrets of the grave that had been protected by flying goddesses for a long time. Now the next paragraph. The night of the scan, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside, then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. 20 minutes later, 2 men emerged, sprinted for an office nearby and returned with the pair of white plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quiet because of sand in a cooler fan. Curse of a pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned Tut over to the workmen, who carried him back to his tomb. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priest had laid him so long ago. In this paragraph, pallbearers, it means a person who helps to escort a coffin at a funeral. Swirling, it means to spin or twist. Hydraulic lift, it means a lift that uses a machine to lift or move heavy objects with a pressure. Sprinter, it means ran at a high speed. In this paragraph, during the night, workmen climbed up on the ramp and the flight of stairs to carry the body from the tomb into the spinning sand outside. They rose the body onto a hydraulic lift, then into a trailer where the scanner was kept. After 20 minutes, 2 men ran towards the office nearby to bring 2 fans. The scanner was not working as the sand had entered a cooler fan. The guard joked that it was because of the curse of the pharaoh, because of the curse of the king, because they had removed his body. Once the fence worked, the procedure was finished. The data was checked in a case of any losses, and then technicians returned the body to the pallbearers who carried him back to his tomb. In less than 3 hours, he was resting at the same place where the priest had laid him many years ago. Now the next paragraph. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images of Tut on a computer screen. A grey hat took shape from a scattering of pixels, and the technician spun and titled it in every direction. Neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage, and a transection of the skull. But for now the pressure was off. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. The winter air lay cold and still like death itself. In this valley of the departed, just above the entrance to Tut's tomb, stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. In this paragraph stood Orion. It means the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. Osiris is the name of the god afterlife. Astonishing, it means amazing. Pixels, it means a pixel is a single point in a graphic image. Spun, it means to turn around. Vertebrae, it means series of a small bones which form a backbone. In this paragraph, in the trailer, the technician showed a beautiful image of Tut on a computer screen. He showed the grey hat which was scattered in pixels and he spun it around. Next, the vertebrae, hand, rib cage and transection of his skull were shown. As the work was done, the pressure was finally off from the shoulders of Zahi Hawass. While sitting in his chair, he smiled and said that he was relieved that nothing went wrong. He had not slept the previous night, and now, as the work was done, he would go and sleep. By the time they left the trailer, the wind had stopped and the winter air was like death itself. Just above the tomb, the Orion constellation shone in the night sky, watching over the boy king, whose name is Tut. So after using a pair of spare fans, the scan was finally done. After 3 hours, his body was taken back to his tomb, where his body is resting in peace. So our third chapter, Discovering Tut, the Saga Continues by A.R. Williams, is completed over here. Thank you.